everyone. I hope you are doing fine today. So we are going to start a new unit, Unit 9, Sound, from our book Skillful 3. So when you hear the word sound, first thing you think about is like TV, radio, movies with sound, like cell phone. So as you can see here from this picture, actually it shows the evolution of sound throughout the years. Like, for example, they started by producing sounds by radio. They started then to broadcasting, or like to launch the first radio in previously, and then they discovered the first movie with sound, and then they launched the first TV station, and at the end we have discovered the first cell phone. Okay, so all of these devices are actually related to our Unit 9 because they really produce sound. Okay, so go to your page 152 from your book Skillful 3. So we are going to start with our lesson plan. So we have like before you watch, while you watch, you have to watch the video and you have to answer some questions, and we will do some vocabulary preview, as you know that it's so important for us, and then we will finish with some global reading. Okay, so let's start. Before watching the video, let's start with some verbs you may know and you need to know before watching. Drill. Actually, to drill is like the action of doing like a hole or creating a hole on something, or like the wall, for example. So drill means to make a hole in something, in the wall. Okay, moving now to the second verb, interfere. Actually, to interfere in something, it means to try to interrupt something from happening or to stop it from happening. Okay, so interfere, it means like to prevent or obstruct something from happening or something from developing. Moving now to the third verb, monitor. Monitor, it means like to try to observe something while it's developing or it's growing, like to watch and listen carefully to this thing while developing. Last verb, it's navigate. We usually always use the verb navigate to like we said, to the sailor is navigating through the sea, or for example, to navigate, it's actually it means to find the way, often in the sea using stars or using maps. So navigate, we use it as a verb to explain how people are trying to go through the sea or wherever. Okay, so now we have these 4 different verbs. So now we are going to, first, before watching, we have to check some questions. Okay, so from just these questions you may even understand, or you may have an idea, even it's a small idea, about what will be our video about. Okay, the first one is, why did researchers place microphones on the seabed? So as you can see here from the first question only, you may know that the video will talk about some researches. Some scientists are doing such a new technique or new discovery. Okay, the seabed, it means something related to the sea, something related to fish or the sea world. So what about the second question? Who is responsible for the noise pollution? So here we are going to try to look from our video who will be responsible for the noise pollution. We have like this keyword, responsible. Who can take the responsibility of causing noise pollution? Men or whales? And the last question is, what is the purpose of the network? So we are going to look for the purpose, why people discovered or created this new technique, which is called like network. Okay, so let's start watching the video. It will be about whales and seabed.
Researchers in Spain have created a system to measure the impact of noise pollution on the world's whales. The team at the Technical University of Catalonia has produced a network of underwater microphones on the seabed in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and the Mediterranean Sea. The sounds they find can be monitored via the internet and make it possible to analyze how noise caused by human activity, like shipping or drilling, can affect the natural balance of oceans.
What we know now from these sound sources in the marine environment is that some of them are so loud they can lead to the death of living things nearby.
The project helps researchers to understand how man-made noise is affecting whales, dolphins, and other sea creatures.
We will be able to see if there is a real impact on these populations. And we may be able to put some systems in place that will protect against these negative impacts.
Shipping, fishing, and the military are all responsible for a level of noise pollution. Whales and dolphins rely on their hearing to hunt, communicate, and navigate, and noise pollution could interfere with all of these activities. Scientists plan to use this network to develop a warning system to notify them when whales approach areas with high noise levels.
Human beings who use the sea and produce noise have to realize that it has to stop. Giving people the tools to prevent them from harming this environment is vital.
Mais il faut leur fournir aussi les outils pour qu'ils puissent ne plus nuire.
Actually, this is an interesting video actually about how noise pollution can really harm our whales, our type of fish, how human beings are really causing harmful environment for our sea life. So let's go back to our questions now. So, why did researchers place microphones on the seabed? They actually mentioned that in the video. These researchers are trying to discover something. What's happening actually in the seabed? Actually, they place the microphones to monitor noise pollution, to observe, to watch, to listen, to understand what's happening. What is noise pollution? Which actually, as he said in the video, it's harming our whales, our fish, and our sea life. It's actually really threatening our sea lives. What about the second question? Who is responsible for the noise pollution? For the noise pollution, I mean. Actually, men are responsible for this noise pollution with drilling, with navigating, with shipping, whatever the activity they do throughout the sea is causing actually the noise pollution which is harming our whales. What about the last question? What is the purpose of the network? Why these researchers have put this, they discovered this network, or why they are doing it actually? They did it to warn people when whales are approaching. It means like they want to protect our whales from harm, from danger that men and human beings are really causing for them. I hope that you really enjoyed this interesting video. Let's move now to check some vocabulary related to our unit. So, as you can see here, I will start like I always do with explaining some these new words. Like, for example, absorb. Absorb is like a verb. It means like to take in, the liquid, to take in the air. Like for a tree, when you are trying to give it some water or something, it will take in this water. It will absorb this liquid. What about advance? Advance, actually, it's also a verb. It means something to develop, to grow, something going to a positive, increasing, for example. What about to determine? To determine, it means like kind of to happen, to cause the happening of something. Okay. Echo, it's like the sound or the voice you can hear when you go and yell in a mountain or in the cave. You can hear the reflection of your sound, which is called echo. Reflect it's also a verb here. It's like you can see the reflection of yourself in the mirror or in the water in the river. You can see your face. You can see the reflection of yourself. Sound wave, actually, you know that for any type or any form of sound, energy, light, the form of how sound moves throughout the air, it's like waves. Vibration, actually, it means like the checking movement of, or like it's actually the checking movement of something. Okay, so now you know the meaning of the most of this vocabulary. Let's start doing this together. So 600 years BCE, the Greek scientist Phygaros proposed the principle that sound is caused by in the air. So here I think we need a noun. It's caused by vibration. Okay, essentially these are moving and changing the, we have this article the, so we need automatically a noun after it around the sound. So maybe let's go with air pressure. So they discovered that moving and changing the air pressure around the sound. Not long after this, the process of sound traveling through the air to the eardrum was discovered. By the 19th century, our understanding had, actually here you know that we need a verb. So we are talking about something has been discovered by the 19th century. So which verb you think that we need here to explain that something has been developed, something has been growing up, increasing? We can use actually advance as the verb here. So our understanding had advanced, yes. Research was now focusing heavily on the idea of, so now they are focusing on something new, on new technique, for example. They are focusing on the idea of sound waves. It's just a new technique, a new term. They are trying to discover what is sound waves, how sound is moving throughout the air. Okay, the number of waves per second, so we need here actually a verb, the frequency. The number of waves per second actually determine the frequency, it creates the frequency. Okay, some materials would the sound, whereas other would the sound. So here we need actually two verbs. So it's like here they are explaining the technique of how sound waves are traveling throughout the air or whatever. So some materials would actually absorb the sound to take it in, whereas other would reflect, to give the reflection of the sound and rebound it back to the source. Like I told you, when you go and yell in the mountain or in the cave, when you are going to yell, you will hear an echo, which is actually the reflection of your voice or your sound. So here, as you can see, they explained actually how some materials like walls or cave or whatever can really absorb your sound and can reflect it to create actually echo. Moving now to our reading, global reading. As I told you, as we always do, we are going to just try to skim and highlight it for you the most important things here in our reading part. So the title is Seeing Without Your Eyes. I mean, when you look here, it's like, what does it mean, seeing without your eyes? We cannot see without our eyes. We are seeing with our eyes, we can hear with our ears. Actually, it looks interesting that some animals like bats, like dolphin, they can really hear without using their eyes. They can really communicate with only using their ears. It's like a new type, or it's like something they use to chase, to look for food, to live in their environment, okay, without using their eyes. So let's try to skim quickly. I give you like 30 seconds. And the question will be like, what is the definition of echo? So you have this keyword, echo, okay, and we need the definition of it. So let's go back to our text. Let's try to skim it. So, as I told you, we have the keyword echo. So we're going to look for it in our text. So as you can see from the first line, we can see here that the writer is trying to define actually what is an echo. He was like saying, an echo is produced in a very simple way, like we have seen in the previous activity. It's like when some materials absorb the sound and reflect it, you will have the echo. So air passes through the vocal cords to trigger a vibration. As I told you, it's the shaking movement. So this vibration is a sound wave. This can create actually the echo. Actually also he said like this sounds wave, as I told you, because sounds move like this way, like waves throughout the air, travel very quickly and in the right location. The echo is the sound waves reflecting back in the direction of the speaker. As I told you, imagine yourself in the cave, you are screaming or yelling, your voice will be absorbed by the cave and it will reflect it again. It will rebound it to create the echo of your voice. Okay, moving now to the second part of our reading. So here I would like to ask you to look for, to tell me what's the main idea of this small paragraph and why bats are using echolocation. If you're asking what is echolocation, actually, if you can like divide this word into echolocation. Echo, I told you already, it's like the reflection of your sound, okay, and location, it means like the place or whatever. So echolocation, it's like a new phenomenon or technique that animals are using to decide to know where are other animals. For example, as you can see here, I will just give you some seconds to skim. For example, why bats are using echolocation? They are not using their eyes to chase, to communicate, to understand their environment. Actually, they are using echolocation. So actually I have highlighted for you here the keywords. So actually bats are using the echolocation by making sounds that echo back to them to give them a better understanding of what or where things are in the environment. They can find the other community of bats. They can find where a nice place to settle, for example. They can know how to chase for their food, to hunt for their food. Actually also they can use this technique to interrupt the direction their prey is moving on. It's like a kind of communication between bats, between also dolphins, because also dolphins, they use the same technique, which is echolocation. So I hope that you liked our unit 9 today. It's kind of interesting sound. See you next week. Thank you so much.